Hello and welcome to another video of Carlito Fluito. This is one of the really important videos that you don't want to miss if you want to understand more about how does the future look like and what is the future. And this is my vision for the future, and we are going to see how I came here. So welcome to Playful Living and How to Build Paradise on Earth, a vision by Carlito Fluito. So let's start by the moment where I'm at. At the moment, I'm listening a lot to this podcast called How to Take Over the World. And one of the last episodes that I listened was about Walt Disney. Walt Disney, as many other great people that are into the how to take over the world, they all have this vision of how to rebuild the way we live, how to rebuild the way society works, right? And there is, for example, Alexander the Great, he built Alexandria. Also, Julius Caesar, he was like having this vision of an empire. And so many others along history, like from, every conqueror, every people that went to a new land, they just had this vision of how things can function different and better for everyone, right? So this is a bit of my input into this conversation. And why paradise? Because paradise is a walled garden where eternal play can occur. These are not my words. These are like Jordan Peterson words. Because paradise comes from the Persian and really proto-language, where it's a walled garden, right? So we have the walls, the culture, and then we have the garden, the nature, the expression. And I'm going to directly base this conversation in my last chapter on the 13 letters since 2013, which is the book that I published a few years ago. So first of all, I would like to read the chapter, and then we are going to dissect it and get some images on what's going on, right? So the chapter is called The Gracias Are Gratis, and it's happening planet Earth, and this is projected to December 2031. How old will I be? I will be 39 years old. So once upon a time, there was an adult that lived in a vibrational field of love and gratitude. And whenever he deviated from it, he looked around and realized how far he had gotten. This adult lived in a village that he had helped manifesting. Whatever you do not finish it if you are not grateful for it. Was on the door of one of the thousands of sentences that were written in the doors of the village. A few years ago, he had discovered one of the most powerful spiritual practices for his being: loitering. Patience, calm, kindness, security, abundance, and gratitude were just a few of the benefits of his walk. During these strolls, he pondered questions like, what am I becoming? When the satellite of the village took pictures of the construction process from the thermosphere, the structure looked like a huge stadium. It was all made with ecological construction techniques like earth-backed domes. Few of these buildings had already their own Wikipedia page: the Big Dome Temple, the hydroponic pagoda, and the big wall of water tanks. The village had everything that was needed. Outside of the wall lived people that were learning to create, code, and care. They lived thanks to the resources of the village: water, food, and love of the people. How you do one thing is how you do everything, was another of the sentences at the village's entrance. The adult had been recognized for being one of the designers of the breathing quality system. The movable panels above the village could change their shape according to climatological circumstances and spiritual needs. During the rainy season, the panels adopted a funnel form that collected and filtered the water towards the walls and the pagodas. The water system was so impeccably designed that all kids had communal green showers with the lawn sprinkles. Although there was plenty of food, the inhabitants of the village ate so slowly that 5 meals a week were enough for them. The excess in produce were given to the people living outside the village in exchange of their time and skills. But the best of the system was the fact that the villagers were interplanetarily recognized for breathing the best air on the known universe. Thanks to the panels, they could create a chimney to maintain the temperature and composition of the air. Once in a while, during the pre-celebration rituals, the whole village gathered together and burned plants from the medicinal gardens. During the event, the chimney closed and created a biogas balloon that prolonged the healing effects of the ceremony. The closing of the day was a loud secret in the region known as abundant oxytocin distribution. But one day, some people in faraway lands got jealous of not having as much quality of life. So jealous that, instead of attacking and taking away their joy, they decided to start envisioning their own village. But that's another story, and shall be told on another occasion. So there you go, guys. Where am I at the moment? If this part of my life should be written on a book called 22 Letters Since 2022, the chapter where I'm at the moment is hustling and playing, because I'm living in Madrid in Spain, and today is March of 2024, and I'm 31 years old, and my main focus at the moment is playing camp. And I'm hustling a lot to create these research for companies, the same way that we had research when we were at the school, and we had these 20-30 minutes to liberate our mind and to focus on being present and with the people around us. Now, we have the opportunity of having a recess, but for companies. And this is what we are co-creating with Plain Camp. This happened a couple of weeks ago in Park El Retiro. And the next step is to take this beyond for everyone and to go create a playground for adults. And I want to leave you with the words of Dragan.
So you say your name, where you're from, and how was the experience for you?
So I am Dragan from Macedonia, and the playground for adults felt like one closest to paradise in me. If I could imagine paradise around me, it was it.
So as you see, it's not my words, it's Dragan's words. So that's a paradise for Dragan. And that's what we are here to co-create, a place where everyone can play, can be free, and they can grow, right? And there are 3 outcomes from this video. Outcome number 1 is that this video belongs to the past, and nobody cares, nobody noticed, and it's another lost video on YouTube. And me, Carlito Fluito, I was crazy and I was delusional. This is one outcome. Another outcome is that this goes to the future, and some historian in the future, he will use this video as material to say, like, the guy had a lot of vision. He was a leader, and he had so clear what he wanted to create. And in case that I die, this would be like a plan for another person to take the ideas from this presentation and apply them and use them. As it happened with Walt Disney, he wanted to build this huge city, the Disneyland, but he died before. And then it lost the momentum. So I wouldn't like that I die and then it lost the momentum. So I'm leaving this for a future person to continue with this. And a third outcome is like, this is my presentation letter. We recently met, or we just met me. And then thanks to this presentation, I can attract talent, and I can attract engineers, designers, ecological, everything that can help me to co-create everything that I'm going to present you in a few moments. And also this is for me like an intention setting, because I'm going to focus exclusively on Plain Camp. And at the moment, I want to put this outside of my mind, to release it, to publish it, so then I can focus with my being at peace, knowing that this is already out there. So welcome to Playful Living, How to Build Paradise on Earth, a vision by Carlito Fluito. So I'm going to refer several times to this video, a vision board that is also on my YouTube channel, as well as this video, which is a well-being-centric vision of the world once AGI starts being applied in different domains. So let's start with the chapter and let's go almost sentence by sentence. Once upon a time, there was an adult that lived in a vibrational field of love and gratitude, and whenever he deviated from it, he looked around and realized how far he had gotten. This adult lived in a village that he had helped manifest. So this is my reference to deviate, which for me is like a total, I believe is the best that has happened to physical theater and to performing arts, as much as I know. And I have them as a reference. I'm the founder also of a physical theater company, Raining Rosas, that is super inspired. And I believe that this is play. This is the future of play. You know, once adults can delegate most of their cognitive and physical work to machines, they will invest a lot of time into developing their theater skills, because theater involves your mind, your soul, your feelings, your body. So we will use a lot of time for playing like this in this village that is coming. Whatever you do not finish it if you are not grateful for it, was one of the thousands of sentences that were written in the doors of the village. I truly love this work of art. It's like fantastic, like the fact of entering a cathedral or entering a building or entering a village, and you have all this work of art on the wall, on the doors. So I imagine something that is so beautiful, so well decorated, that one of the sentences is this one, to remind that we are grateful for being alive. So a few years ago, he had discovered one of the most powerful spiritual practices for his being, loitering. Patience, calm, kindness, security, abundance, and gratitude were just a few of the benefits of his walks. During these strolls, he pondered questions like, what am I becoming? And this, I love this metaphor of Lao Tzu walking around these constructions that we're going to discover now, and being so peaceful, so calm, so aligned with whatever is happening, that reaches this level of satisfaction, that although he continues with the mission is to be on the wu way, on the flow, and just to be present, right? So you can see on this other video from 2024, this is the day 49, where I was doing a practice called randonautics. So you just basically go, I mean, the map gives you a point, a random point, and you have an intention, and then you go there. So my intention in this case was like, what's some help that I'm going to need for my season of no. And my season of no is these weeks, where I'm going to exclusively focus on playing camp and say no to a lot of social events, distractions, meeting people. And I'm just going to focus on making a reality out of playing camp. And in this case, my randonautica, my message was to see this guy. He looked like Lao Tzu. It was like an old guy with a long white hair. And I saw him twice. Once he was walking along, peaceful. And then when I arrived to that point, I saw him again. And I realized how I had made my Taoistic joke from 10 years ago, which was like Lao Tzu, when he wrote the first verse of the Tao Te Ching, which is over here, when he wrote the first sentence, was like, the Tao that can be expressed is not the eternal Tao. And in playing camp, we don't use linguistic material. We don't use words. So somehow I'm this type of Lao Tzu, which has put everyone on the nature to be present and to interact with each other, but without language. Therefore, what we create is an instant experience of awakening and connection and love and gratitude. So somehow this guy became Lao Tzu. So when the satellites of the village took pictures of the construction process from the thermosphere, the structure looked like a huge stadium. It was all made with ecological construction techniques like earthback domes. Few of these buildings had already their own Wikipedia page: the Big Dome Temple, the hydroponic pagoda, and the big wall of water tanks. The village had everything that was needed. So let's unpack this. Let's go first with the earthback domes. So this is nothing super amazing, because these already exist, guys. Like, I mean, a lot of the things I'm going to present you, they already exist. So this is about just putting the different components together. So what we have here is this earthback construction that can be circular. So somehow is the easiest way to interact with each other. And there are some things here, like, I mean, you can see on the illustration, this is already a picture, right? So you can see like how this can be already built by the day of today. And this is one of the things that we're going to do. Second, the Big Dome Temple. So I was playing with this idea of spirituality and psychology for a lot of time, and at some point I was starting to build a brand on it, and I recorded a few podcast episodes. So how can we merge and translate what is on the domain of spirituality, like science, and what's on the domain of psychology and science, and then spirituality, and to merge these two worlds, right? From paying attention to your breath for 5 minutes is going to improve your attention levels, to you can connect with another being if you focus all your attention on your positive emotions and affect their health, which is more like Reiki, for example, right? So how can we draw the line, and how can we translate one language to each other? And I would love to, I mean, this is one of the visions, like to build this temple in this community, in this village, where we can use AI as well as biofeedback and physiological measurements to fully understand what's going on in our bodies while we're having spiritual experiences. And in the video of my vision for the future, this is there, as well as it's complementary with the video of the AGI, because there is another slides where I explain how this could be achieved. And I was living in Bali last year, and there is plenty of domes that are used as temples, and they are extremely beautiful. So it's very doable. And I want to mention the Nest, which is in Costa Rica, and there is a couple of people that I know, Juanpa and Regan, that they are already building this type of concept where they can like use biofeedback to fully enter different spiritual states. And this is lovely. At the moment, it's a luxury experience, but the same as with all the new innovation that is happening, at the beginning is luxury, and little by little it will become mainstream. So let's go for the hydroponic pagoda. And this is the concept, right? It's like a pagoda. I love the whole concept of having these different terraces, these different levels, and then to have different ways of channeling the water to the different levels and different routes. And I already mentioned it on the AI video as well, how this will be on cities, like it may be inside, maybe on blocks of building, in this case, starting from scratch in the pagoda. And also, I think it looks super beautiful here on this Zambian community as well. And this is something that already exists, guys. There is plenty of hydroponic projects and vertical farming happening all around the world. And more, this is happening. So it could be something like, how can we optimize that we have a varied diet in the community so everyone can eat, and then we can like be our own self-sustained community. So that's the goal. And then the big wall of water tanks. So this is the stadium-like. So this is nothing new. Like this exists, right? Like this is in India. And imagine like a city that is built there. You're going to understand it really well with the next slides. So the city is built there. There are these different structures there, like the temple, the different pagodas. And this is inspired as well by this Fujian Tulu. And this is like a Hakka village, is in China. And they were living inside, right? So they have all these houses on the walls, and then they had like some communal living inside. And this is in the video of my vision board. There you can see like how these houses are containers. And why containers? Well, with the containers, we could channel the water, and this could be like the big wall of water tanks. So we could accumulate the water on the walls and optimize the space, and also the channeling of the water everywhere. And the containers in the vision of the AGI, I believe that this is something amazing, because you can have a house that you can transport to different places. And imagine that you're in one community and you want to move to another community, right? So you could take your house and take it to another place and live with the other people, because each community could be specialized and optimized based by interest, for example. And inside the container, this is a proposal that I did for Mr. Beast when I was applying for a creative position to work with him. And there are like different ideas, like for example, to put the screens inside, so then we could be working or focus or entertain while traveling, and we could travel with electric vehicles, for example, and we could move around the world and regreen the world, right? Like terraforming planet Earth again. So outside of the wall live people that were learning to create, code, and care. Create, code, and care. They live thanks to the resources of the village, water, food, and love of the people. How you do one thing is how you do everything, was another of the sentences at the village entrance. So if you go to Kunika Zambia YouTube channel, you might find this video where I explain the whole vision of Kunika, which was this NGO that I co-founded on Zambia. The Ku relates to culture, arts, and creativity, and there is a performing arts with the Raining Rosas input. There is also like a music, like how to develop a media and music, as well as how to develop the clothes, the Chitenge Fluito, which is a potential brand that I also want to develop. And then how to package all this into a sort of a media channels that can distribute all this information. The NI stands for Internet and Digital Literacy. So then we had like the idea of using online videos to educate the population in Zambia, the young population, and then they can become their own business owners and then generate wealth, as well as applying coding skill, which now will be like more AI, and generate the new currencies of the future, or just like to use that for financial benefits. And finally, to develop the role of remote working. So people in Zambia could be working with people outside of Zambia, in Europe, in America, wherever, and then bring this wealth into the community. And finally, the KA stands for caring for the environment, and it's recycling, developing recycling materials and bioecological construction, and also figuring out ways to get new energy from sustainable powers. And as I mentioned, the hydroponic agriculture. And finally, the goal is to give as much land as possible to the animals and create natural reserves. So the adult has been recognized for being one of the designers of the breathing quality system. The movable panels above the village could change their shape according to climatological circumstances and spiritual needs. During the rainy seasons, the panel adopted a funnel form that collected and filtered the water towards the walls and the pagodas. The water system was so impeccably designed that all kids had communal green showers with the lawn sprinkles. Although there was plenty of food, the inhabitants of the village ate so slowly that 5 meals a week were enough. For them, the excess in produce were given to the people living outside the village in exchange of their time as kids. So then I start to imagine this eco dome, so this is from the video of the AI, of the vision, this eco village, right, that we are speaking about, and then there can be like a dome. But something that I find a bit more adjustable to these different patterns is like if we have these toulouse, so this is all generated with AI, and then we have the panels on top, right? So these panels could channel the water into the center or could channel it into the different pagodas. And this is something that already exists in stadiums, is these retractable roofs, right? So with the roofing system, then we could channel the water either to the tanks on the walls or directly to the pagodas. And there will be so much water that it could be lovely to see a scene like this where everyone can go outside. And I mean, I believe this is paradise, right? Like this is paradise when everyone can be free and play with the water is good, and everyone is extremely happy. And there would be such much abundance because the produce could be optimized with the AI and the hydroponic that we could feed the whole region. So it's a bit like feudalism, but instead of exploiting people outside to be fed inside, it's like you generate so much inside that you can give outside. So, but the best of the system was the fact that the villagers were interplanetarily recognized for breathing the best air on the known universe. Thanks to the panels, they could create a chimney to maintain the temperature and composition of the air. Once in a while, during the pre-celebration rituals, the whole village gathered together and burned plants from the medicinal gardens. During the event, the chimney closed and created a biogas balloon that prolonged the healing effects of the ceremony. The closing of the day was a loud secret in the region known as abundant oxytocin distribution. If you know anything about me, you know, like I like nature and I like plants, and now is the how can we use plants to heal and to take care of ourselves, but in a more psychological and spiritual way. So we can create these medicinal gardens full with these different plants that are helping us to feel better. And there is, I want to mention McKenna, like he has an ethnobotanical preserve and he has all the seeds and all the, like if there is like an apocalypse, like he, with the things that he saved, he could regrow so many of plant species. And that's how we could utilize some of these plants and some of these elements to generate these biogas balloons with the roofs. So then we could like create and co-create a huge moment of celebration inside the eco community. And this could be like the pre-celebration rituals. Whenever there is like an important event going to happen, then we could celebrate before, as well as I'm getting really inspired by the Roman Empire and how Julius Caesar, after conquering parts of France, he came back and then he made like these huge celebrations. Actually, it wasn't on not only France, but also Egypt, parts of Turkey and everywhere. So this is like a 1 week of pure whole celebration. And abundant oxytocin distribution is when you take this to the next level. and everyone is like peace and love, everyone around, and everyone is playing. But one day, some people in faraway lands got jealous of not having as much quality of air. So jealous that instead of attacking and taking away their joy, they decided to start envisioning their own village. But that's another story, and shall be told on another occasion. And here, just for you, that I'm not so crazy, I'm here quite a down-to-earth guy. There are already projects of building sustainable cities. There is one in Dubai. There is another one happening in Bali that I visit, like the Nuanu city. It's an alternative way of living. And also, in faraway lands, interplanetarily, is making reference of how we could design a way of living that is so good on Earth that we want to export it into Mars. Because that's the mission. Like, we found a way of building a system where people are so happy that they don't have homesickness or earth sickness, right? So this is like terraforming a planet and celebrating the biggest festivities known. And that's all for me for today. That was my playful living and how to build paradise on Earth. And that was my vision. I hope I see you in a plane camp. And I know I will see many of you in plane camp, either in Madrid or in the future locations. And after plane camp, there will be many other projects that will come. So stay tuned because we are moving forward. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you had a very good day and ciao, ciao.